the Patriots free agency, the cap room they have available, this is going to be a big talking point of this offseason. And it seems to be obviously one of the things that attracted Mike Vrabel to the job and probably some of his assistant coaches as well. But what I don't want to get caught up in is the fact that the Patriots have all this cap space and therefore they will be a good football team next year. It certainly should give you hope as a fan, but like there's no guarantee this front office will handle this well. We don't know. And there are some people now, some of the beat writers, people following this team who are now saying, well, yeah, you can't give Elliott Wolf just 1 year. That's too harsh to say he was a failure after 1 year. But honestly, looking back, last year they had some cap room and they decided to re-sign all these guys that were drafted and developed by the head coach and GM that they said was ruining the organization. And they just re-signed them all. Peppers, Onwenu, Duggar, all these guys. And then suddenly it's like, well, you can't blame Elliott Wolf for, re-signing the guys that the guy before him signed, as if that makes any sense. So now you do go in with a ton of cap room, more cap space than anyone in the league, well over $100 million to play with. And the last time they did that, granted with Belichick in 2021, I think they did a good job. They probably overpaid for some guys, but that's kind of what you have to do. And it was a free agency that took you from a mediocre team to a playoff team the next year, right? And so obviously there are some more steps for the Patriots to go. That 2020 team, even as bad as that was better than this 24 team. But you went out there and you got, Matthew Judon, you got Hunter Henry, Devon Godshaw. Those are all good pieces. You might have paid a little too much for Godshaw, but still, those are all good pieces. Hunter Henry still contributing for you today, still your leading receiver today, which, isn't great in a vacuum, but you got good value from those guys. You also missed on a couple, right? You missed on, the Aguilars of the world, Devontae Parker the next year. You missed out on Jonnu Smith, but for the most part, you overspent, but made your team significantly better in the short term. And that's what the Patriots can do with this offseason. Ronnie Stanley is the name I keep looking at. 31 years old, but he's going to go to market as a left tackle from Baltimore. I get it. 31 years old. Why are you signing a 31-year-old tackle? There's concerns about why he's even making it to market, right? Good tackles don't usually make it to market. Here's a guy who has proven to be a good tackle in Ronnie Stanley, and he's somehow getting to market as a 31-year-old. And that's probably because A, the Ravens run a good organization. There we go. And B, the other part of this is the Patriots really aren't in a position to worry too much about that. Because it's not, first off, Ronnie Stanley's not getting a 4-year deal. You got to get a 2-year deal, team option third, right? That, to me, is totally worth it from where you're at right now. In a normal year, you're probably not wasting that. You're probably not saying, I'm not going out paying a premium for a 31-year-old tackle who has made it to market. But you literally did not have an NFL tackle last year. Not at left tackle, not at right tackle. You did not have an NFL replacement level tackle the whole of last year. So you can't be too picky when it comes to the age of your tackle or, wonder why he's hitting free agency. Can't be too picky about that. It's not going to cost you a ton anyway. You're not going to give him a 5-year contract. So to me, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about going after a Ronnie Stanley because he instantly makes you better than what you were. And now what's so interesting about this is free agency comes first. And in most years, the Patriots would know 1 or 2 guys, probably not even needing to go to a third option, at who they're going to pick at number 4 in the draft. This is not every other year. This draft sucks. So there's still no guarantee which of those quarterback-hungry teams in the top 3 are actually going to go after a quarterback, right? Like, there's still no guarantee of that. And now, there's all kind of Easter eggs being thrown around, specifically from Tennessee, who's picking number 1, and their GM saying, we won't skip out on a generational talent just because we're looking at quarterback. And now there's options out there. Who knows what the Saints do with Derek Carr? Sam Darnold's probably going to be on the move. He had a great year this past year. So there's going to be options for some of these teams to just, either go out and get somebody at quarterback or get someone to give them a year, or even try the Will Levis thing for one more year in order to get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. So all that to say, with the Patriots, it changes how you're going to do free agency, because realistically, you need both tackle positions. You need, and this is just for free agency and the draft, like anything to fill your roster, you need these things. Left and right tackle, you need some depth at corner, you need edge rusher, you need wide receiver. And you probably need depth at tight end and running back. But those other 4 is what we're really looking at here. And on a normal year, you should be able to say, I'm going to get either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter in the draft. So let's work the rest of our free agency with that knowledge in mind. And maybe it's like, hey, we're going to get Travis Hunter, so maybe we do push for T.J. Watt, because some sports books are putting the best odds to get T.J. Watt to the Patriots. That would be fascinating. Or if you're saying, Carter's our guy, let's allocate some extra money towards wide receiver. T. Higgins is going to be the hot name, but T. Higgins is a guy who's going to be, apparently, according to reports, demanding north of $30 million per year. Justin Jefferson money. CeeDee Lamb kind of money. And I know you've probably got to overpay a little bit to go and get a top tier free agent wide receiver to come play for the Patriots these days, come play in Foxborough. But T. Higgins ain't that. He's not Justin Jefferson, man. Sorry. He's a good player. I like him. And his numbers, none of them are as good as Justin Jefferson. I mean, Jefferson's a 100 reception guy as an X receiver, 1,500 yards, 15 per catch. To do the quick math there. T. Higgins was 30th in receptions this year. Missed a game or two, right? But 73 catches, 10 touchdowns, obviously better than what the Patriots have right now. Much better than what the Patriots have right now. In fact, with these numbers, he would be comfortably their leading receiver in yards, their leading receptions guy, and very comfortably their touchdowns leader. But then again, Justin Jefferson has much better numbers, and he is the alpha on his team. T. Higgins has worse numbers and is the secondary guy on his team when the defense is game planning around the guy on the other side. Now, I'm not comparing him to Justin Jefferson to say, oh, the Patriots should get Justin Jefferson instead. Obviously, that's not the case. But I'm saying if he's going to demand $30+ million per year, which is very possible, then I think the Patriots need to take a long, hard look at this and say, you know what? Let's unleash Pop Douglas in the slot position, and we'll go out and get some older guys who are cheaper. Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, all out there on the market this year. Maybe let's get 2 of those guys at the same price that we would give to T. Higgins, maybe even a little bit less because they're on the back 9 of their careers. Cooper Kupp is still one that is probably going to be out there as well. He's probably going to get cut by the Rams. Like, if I'm the Patriots, I'm okay with them getting 2 guys, 30 or north of, rather than a 20. She just turned 26. T. Higgins. So 29 or north of. I think Kupp's 29. To go out and get 2 of those guys at the same price you would have got 1 T. Higgins, who has not proven to be a number 1 guy yet. Again, he's better than what you have right now, for sure. He upgrades you, but Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, and Cooper Kupp are all guys that would elevate you. And certainly two of them would elevate you. But I have a feeling that T. Higgins will be the guy that they circle in free agency. And if you are able to, because here's the thing, at the end of the day, if you're able to fix those two positions and three players, so two tackles and a wide receiver, a winning X wide receiver, then you're in a good spot. Then you're in a good spot. Because I think the other things, offensively, you can fill depth-wise through the draft, those being, second tight end, second running back. Those were big problems for the Patriots this year. I guess third running back because you got Antonio Gibson for another year. And he was fine. But you've just got so much to fix. And this is where it's almost beneficial. It's almost beneficial to the general manager. Is you've got so much to fix, like the rest of it's so bad that almost no matter what move you make, you're improving it. Right? Like 2020 to 2021, like you had such a lack of weapons for Cam Newton, who wasn't going to really execute that anyway. You had such a lack of weapons that bringing in Nelson Aguilar, as bad as that became, was still an upgrade. Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, still an upgrade. Those three guys you look at as your offensive weapons that you signed, you won that free agency because one of them was good. But I'm telling you, man, Chris Godwin is not a bad one to look at. Like, truly. I know he's only a little bit older. He's still 28. He's about to turn 29. He's going to turn 29 by the time this next season kicks off. He had an injury that ended the season. He ended the season on IR, but he still caught 50 balls for 576 and 5 touchdowns on what was a pretty solid team this year for Tampa. And he did that in only 7 games. 7 games. He had 50 receptions and 5 touchdowns. The guy can still produce, man. And as bad as it is, he's probably going to be a little bit cheaper than normal, than market value for him because he's coming off an injury. I would love to bring in Chris Godwin, even if it's as insurance, even if you do spend $26 million a year for T. Higgins and you get Chris Godwin for, under 10, 9.5, $10 million a year. I'd do that. I'd use, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson money on those two guys. No problem. That's an instant upgrade. And again, with Pop Douglas, like I'm expecting a bigger year out of him. That's someone you can actually develop who's on your roster right now. And there's probably no one else in that receiver room you could do that for. But you have a guy in Josh McDaniels who more than anyone probably in the history of the NFL has made the slot receiver position a very productive one in New England. So there, and again, with what I said on the show yesterday, like he needs that safety blanket. Drake May does. And Hunter Henry is nice, but from all that we've seen in the flashes of Pop Douglas, that dude can be a playmaker in the NFL. It can be more than nice. He can be pretty good and can really elevate what Drake May can do next year. But certainly that's the case with guys like T. Higgins or Chris Godwin or even Cooper or Diggs, man. I mean, I know those guys are a little bit older too. They're both in their 30s, I think, but they've still produced. They still produce year after year. Like Amari Cooper keeps getting traded, and when he's actually healthy, like he's a guy. You know what I mean? And still better than what the Patriots have.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.